carries 20 plus years of experience and she has been a coach and a trainer since 2017. She has also added a certification like NLP master practitioner, master coach, trainer, conversational hypnotist. She also practices on emotional intelligence and she's also an interventionist for the same. She also has psychometric profiling under her belt, and she has also done her HR analytics from XLRI, which is Xavier's Labor Research Institute. Currently, she is associated with NoCraft Analytics Private Limited as the Vice President of Human Resources.
Every organization in this room, whether it is small, whether it is medium, large, doesn't matter. Every organization that you are associated with, even if you're a freelance trainer, if you're successful today, then it is based on what you have learned in the past. Every organization that you are associated with is successful today because of what you have learned in the past. But the real question that we are going to answer is, will those learnings help you be successful tomorrow? Will that, I'm repeating myself, will those learnings keep you successful tomorrow? We all know that today's environment, strategy, cycles, and the entire I'm a strategist, right? So I've moved out of HR. So the entire strategy cycle, it's kam hote ja raha hai, it's shrinking. Technologies, we all know they are changing as fast as it can, and people are, juggling to adapt to it. The roles that were relevant yesterday are always evolving today. So in this reality, in this reality that we talked about, learning is no longer just a support function. Let's come out of it. Let's come out of thinking that support function, that learning is a support function. No, I would say it is more of a, engine for survival. It is your engine for survival. So those who have read the book on the fifth discipline by Peter Senge would understand what I'm trying to say. उसने बहुत पहले लिखा था. He had written it long time back. And today's conversation that we are having is from two great insights. One is by Dr. Amy Edmondson, that is Psychological Safety at Workplace, and The Fifth Discipline by Peter Senge, and that's what I have tried to create the entire flow of today's conversation by these two great researchers and of their times, right? So Peter Senge said this he had this very powerful say that the ability to learn faster than your competition, the ability to learn faster than your competition may be the only sustainable competitive advantage. So it's not the capital that you have, but it is the scale of learning that you are having that will bring in success to your organization. So the message that I want to give you today is very clear, that L&D is not an HR function. It is something that the business is surviving on. Most organization that I have seen, they are still operating with a very serious and a dangerous assumption. They have a very serious and a dangerous assumption which says that once skills are built, they stay relevant for years, and that assumptions we all know is no longer true at all. Today's skills have half the life, maybe 2 years, maybe 6 months, maybe 1 week. We don't know what is there in the future, right? Life hai hi nahi. In fact, those who are doing MBA, once they are out of their MBAs, they would like, oh, the world has changed. So entire job roles are being redefined, and we are in the middle of these changes that are happening. So while people are performing, they also know that there are a lot of changes happening in their job roles. So what is the real risk that the organization is facing today? Is it disruption? Is it disruption? I would say no, it is not disruption, it is stagnation. The risk that the organization is facing today is not disruption. There's so many changes happening, blah, 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 blah. No, it is stagnation. The inability to adapt fast. That is where stagnation will fall in your organization. And the stagnation, if you see, it's not just like that Iran war or the US Israel war. It's not dramatic. No, 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 no. It's not dramatic at all. Stagnation will be visible in the opportunities that you have missed because of you could not take a decision, because there was no innovation that was happening during that time. And then the leaders will sit back and say, this organization was so agile earlier, but now I don't know what has happened. This is one statement as a learning strategist that I hate when somebody comes and tells me this statement. And I'm sure if you are into learning and development, you must have also heard this statement a lot, which says, we invest heavily in training. We invest heavily in training, और बड़े proudly बोलते हैं. They say it very proudly. But my question to them is, training and learning the same thing? Because training is episodic. We all know that training is episodic and learning is continuous. Learning is continuous. Training happens in classrooms. ठीक है, it could be in any form, right? It could be a lecture form, it could be case study, and it happens in classrooms. Learning happens in the flow of the work. When you are in a training culture, the questions that you would ask is, what courses, हमें क्या कोर्स करना चाहिए, हमें कौन से MDPs रन करने चाहिए. That's a training culture, right? But when it is a learning culture, you will ask questions like, how do people learn? How will they adapt? How will they make better decisions? How will they, take risks in decision making? So, what I'm trying to say over here is, in learning, um, we need change in behavior, or how decisions are made, or in the entire outcomes. So it is not the activity that we are trying to talk about here. Training is activity, but learning is the impact that you create. Learning is the impact that you create, and training is equal to learning. Forget that. That's not happening. Learning should change how work is done. Learning happens when people, they question your assumptions. The very assumptions of your work, if they feel that they are free to question those assumptions, right? That is when learning happens. Teams learn across the silos that has been created. The insights that are coming out, it travels faster than the hierarchy that the organization has created. Mistakes are examined. Mind my words. I have chosen this word very categorically. Mistakes are examined, not hidden. I'll introduce learning organization don't just react to changes, they create it. They create it. Clarity, they also don't have. When they are into it, clarity they also don't have when they are creating change, right? But they know that in the go, they will bring in clarity. They will not stop, right? So, here what I want to tell you is learning is about capability, not the content that you are creating. That is training. Learning is about capability, and when any senior leadership team talks to you कि चलो हम ये करते हैं वो करते हैं, then move beyond training. Tell them let's move beyond training. Learning organization convert insights into action, and that is where the entire gap lies. We all know that somebody called Wright brothers, किसी ने प्लेन उड़ सकते हैं बोला था, बट उसको कमर्शियली वायबल बनाने में हमको 30 साल लगे, 30 years, 30 years. इंसाइट, समवन गेव अस इंसाइट, बट उसको एक्शन में लाने में 30 years लगे. अपने पास तो 3 हफ्ता भी नहीं, वी डोंट इवन हैव 3 weeks. So there are 5 core principles that the book talks about. One is personal mastery, mental models. Third is shared vision. Fourth is team learning, and the final one is systems thinking. Systems thinking. And that is where the psychological safety I have blended. Right? Personal mastery, leaders who continue to learn. I don't stop going to classrooms. I don't stop going to classrooms, and I am still, in awe of the academics. Mental models are challenging how we have always done it, challenging assumptions. Remember? Shared vision, learning aligned to purpose, not just roles. Purpose, we impact. Impact. We are talking about business impact, right? So it has to be aligned to the purpose, not just the roles. Collective intelligence over individual brilliance. This is going to take you places, because I'll tell you a live example in my organization. We are into valuations. We are into a very niche market of valuations for the US markets. And with the advent of AI, we all were equally clueless. We all were equally clueless. Then that we came up with this concept of collective intelligence. We have a AI academy now. Within our organization, we have AI academy, and they are leading it. तो वो लोग खुद learn कर रहे हैं, and they are imparting it to others also, so that the the entire organization learns. Because clients, they started asking us, "Ki, how are you automating? How are you doing this? How are you doing that?" And we have to take their data security also into place, so my IT also has to be involved. So there was a lot of chaos. We brought orderliness in that chaos also, by introducing this. Even the co-founders were like, what should we do now? So we asked many, and then this is what we did: collective intelligence. So now with this AI Academy, we are coming up with No Craft Academy. This is all for internal uses only, not for external uses. But this is implemented. And the last one is something that you should take away if you forget everything: systems thinking. See the patterns. कोई भी चीज आइसोलेशन में मत देखो, it will become an event. So see it in patterns. See how things are developing or how things are not developing, and that is what we are going to talk about, how we will be doing and how we can bring in systems thinking. Without systems thinking, learning will be like, as I told you, isolated events. It will become fragmented. It will be fragmented, and it will be local, right? Um, the learning culture, you cannot separate that from a disciplined practice. Motivation speaking, slogans, nothing is going to work. Discipline. You will have most learning initiatives that we, uh, I have seen the failure. Where does the failure come? I have seen that they say that people they resist change. I have heard this. I have heard this. People they resist learning. People they resist change. Okay, I'll park it somewhere. But people they resist learning. This is what I have been hearing. You know why this is happening? Because the systems that we have created within the organization are ensuring this. Go back and do an audit for your systems and check whether the organization is rewarding what. There will be a reward system, right? So, what are you rewarding? Are you rewarding speed or are you rewarding reflection? Are you rewarding answers or are you rewarding questions? Are you rewarding execution or are you rewarding understanding? How are leaders promoted? Leaders are promoted because of uncertainty or because of the curiosity that they are having. What are you doing with mistakes? Are you penalizing them or you are making the learning process safe or unsafe? If you're penalizing them, you are making the learning process unsafe. Psychological safety gai khadde mein. It's gone, it's gone. Right? So ask these questions. People they do not resist learning. We have to question our own systems, and our systems are actively meant to prevent learning. The organization collectively is ensuring that you develop an organization which has learning disabilities. लर्निंग डिसेबिलिटीज एम्प्लॉयज में है कि नहीं वो बाद में देखेंगे फर्स्ट गो एंड फाइंड आउट वेदर द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इज हैविंग लर्निंग डिसेबिलिटीज और नॉट because if you are blaming others, if you are firefighting symptoms and repeating the same mistakes with a better training program, then there is a structural barrier that you have to look into. You have to it is not about mindset over learning. This is where the leadership questions they actually start in, and let me see if I'm making an impact in what I am trying to um, uh, portray or make a point over here. So there is a big shift in the leadership that is required. There is a huge shift. Traditional leaders they are the decision makers. They are required to give you answers. They are the problem solvers, right? But I would define leadership in this current scenario as leaders are the designers of environment where learning happens. आपका काम है to design an environment, and I'll give you certain cues how you can do it. I cannot give you an full-fledged way, but I can give you some cues as to how you can do it in your own little ways. So traditional leaders are decision makers, they are the controllers. That's what we did in the beginning of the start of this session. I would say leaders are designers of environments where learning actually happens. So they have to move from giving answers. Whenever you go to them, they have the solution. They know it. They know it. Right? So they'll be like, this is how it is done, and they will actually give you the solution. Right? But no. Now a leader should ask the right question and lead the person to the solution. Don't give the solution. Controlling outcomes to enabling capability. मतलब उसकी capability बाहर निकालो. He has the wings. Teach him how to spread it and fly. From managing performance to designing learning systems. This is how the leadership shift has happened. Today, leadership credibility is on how you can help others to learn. It is not about how well you know the person. No. गए वो दिन. So leaders must become the learning architects. I don't want today's leaders to be those heroic problem solvers. I know it all. Nahi. I also don't know. I'm also learning because roles and everything is changing. So, how can I be that heroic person? But at least I should know how to ask the right question and be ahead of time. So, if you want to move from being a control person to a learning enabling person, then you have to do more than just approving budgets or the typical role of a leader, right? What you have to do is design climates where it is safe to learn in the organization. It is your role, it is the leader's role to design climates where it is safe to learn. So, in a psychologically safe team, people, should be free to say, I don't know. And when they say that, and when they say that early, you are actually uh, uh, helping the failure not to happen. क्योंकि वो डर जो है ना to the fear of saying I do not know. Okay, I'll tell you the context of Emmy Edmondson's book. So she is studying high performing teams. Okay, she was studying high performance teams and in a hospital. So high performing teams. When she was analyzing, she realized that in a high performing team, the nurses, the doctors, the everyone in that team was collaborative, or they did not have any fear in asking any questions. But on the other side, there was this another team which was being led by authority, and the doctor in that team was very authoritative and would not let the nurses speak or the residential doctor speak or whoever was there, and सारे mistakes ना उनके team में होते थे. Imagine a situation wherein the doctor has come in. Of course, the nurse knows it better because she is the person who is giving the medicine and who is doing everything. Chart में पढ़ने में there could be some mistake. And if the nurse cannot correct the doctor, and if he does a wrong diagnosis, then what happens? I need not explain that to you because it is patient, critical care. Imagine a situation where the nurse is free to tell the doctor, कि, 1 minute doctor, I think this is what you have missed over here. यहाँ पे उसका BP, it was more, so I think there is a problem over here. Right? Right? Okay. So the cost of silence, the cost of silence of that particular nurse and the cost of speaking of that particular nurse was what? Patient's life, man. So decades of evidences, they show that the same pattern when safety is high, simple, it's very simple. When safety is high, learning behaviors go up. The role of a leader or a CHRO or anybody at that level has evolved a lot. So i- if you are still in capability builder or you are a cultural shaper, I have moved from this side to this side. From building capability, I have started shaping the culture. So this means what it means for me. It is like embedding learning into work. So I've stopped separating it. Okay, learning and then work. No, it is all together. It is all together. It is equipping managers to coach, not just review. मतलब काम मिला रिव्यू लिख के भेज दिया. No, coach. Teach them to ask the right question. Okay, tell me, how did you reach this analysis? So he will tell. And then the manager says, what a stupid assumption you are making. Bas khatam. The safety is all gone. So you have to coach the managers to ask, not just review and give it back. So learning ko tum please reward karo. Tenure is like fine. We have moved away from tenure also. So create systems where knowledge flows freely, and that can be done through psychological safety, right? So for you, the message is learning strategy. It's there on the slide also. Learning strategy is equal to your talent strategy, which is equal to your business strategy. If you remember, the leaders must role model. If the leaders cannot admit that they do not know, if the leaders cannot seek feedback, if they do not create space for reflection, if they do not reward experimentation, then learning is not happening in that organization. It is just a pretension. it सब लोग pretend कर रहे हैं. So learning culture starts from the top, and the visibility matters more than the intent. So understand the impact, right? When you are measuring, right? Do not measure how many hours of training we have completed, how many certifications we have taken. ये सब मत करो यार. Move beyond this. Your real matrix is this: capability building, quality of decisions, time to productivity, internal mobility, innovation velocity. These are all business outcomes. So you understand when I'm saying it is not it's not an HR function. It's not a support function. It is business that we are talking out over here. So please measure the impact, not the effort. The effort comes in that number of hours of training, course completion, and 90 days. This is what you can do in your organization. Identify the three most critical future capabilities. Tie learning to real business challenges. Retrain managers as learning leaders. Don't expect them to control. Don't expect them to be the solution provider. Don't expect them to take decisions. Learning managers banao. Teach them how to ask the right questions. Tell them how to to be a good mentor, to be a good coach. Create, if nothing, you don't want to do anything, then just do one thing. Create safe spaces for dialogue and reflection. AAR. Bas, itna kar lo. Because what I'm trying to tell you over here is, in learning, you don't need more courses, you need more conversations. That is what that is the need of So even if you start small, start in a very systematic manner. In past, learning supported strategy, but now learning is the strategy that is your competitive advantage. The organization that will thrive will not be the biggest or the most efficient, but the one who can learn fastest, adapt the quickest, and unlearn. I think people will stop asking over here is should we invest in learning? My answer to them would be, can we afford not to do it? Right? So these are uh, my final point to this entire group is continuous learning is how strategy gets executed in uncertainty. We are in uncertain life, right? Then continuous learning is how strategy gets executed in uncertainty.